operation. Yesterday, the National Bureau of Statistics has released the economic data overall for 2018. In the face of complex international economic situation as well as the daunting challenge for the reform and opening up, China's economy has maintained stable operation with steady progress. We have achieved the main targets for economic development. GDP has exceeded 9 trillion RMB, the increase of 6.6%, and we have the more than 1.37 million jobs, and import and export has grown by 9.7%. And for three targets have witnessed a good start. Supply-side structural reform has promoted, and we have better reformed, and we have improved people's livelihood so that we have sustained the rapid development of the economy and social stability. For 2019, in the face of domestic and foreign uncertainties, the key is to implement the guidelines adopted by the Central Economic Work Conference. We need to focus on 5 pillars for high-quality development, for supply-side structural reform, the 3 targets and priorities, and we need to focus on reform and opening up, and we also need to nurture domestic market. NDRC, in line with other departments and functions, we all need to implement these targets, and we need to focus on stability and progress. We innovate in the concept of development. We focus on macro control, and we need to reinvigorate the micro entities, and we need to keep the economic development within a proper range. In the face of outside challenges, we need to offer energy and high-quality growth. Second, for power generation and consumption, as well as investment. First, for power generation and consumption. From power generation, we say that for the industrial enterprises have generated more than 6.8% increase of power, a year-on-year growth of 1.1 percentage points, the highest rate since 2014. For December, the total generation has grown by 6.2% year-on-year. Nuclear, wind, solar has increased 37.9%, 20.6%, and 22.2% respectively. Hydro decreased by 0.9%. And from power consumption 2018, the overall consumption has increased by 8.5%. The increase has been faster than about 1.9 percentage points as compared to 2017. Primary, secondary, and tertiary has increased by 9.8%, 7.2%, and 12.7%, and 10.4%. For the tertiary and domestic consumption, they have kept double-digit growth, and for all provinces have witnessed growth in power generation and power consumption. Xizang, Guangxi, Inner Mongolia, Chongqing, Guangxi, Hubei, Gansu, Jiangxi, Hunan province have maintained double-digit growth. And for fixed asset investment, in 2018, NDRC has implemented the instructions for the CPC Central Committee and the State Council. We make up for the shortcomings as the priority for the supply-side structural reform. We give full play to the government investment as a leverage, and we also give full play to the market mechanism and social investment. We focus on weak links and key junctions. We focus on infrastructure and public services. And we have formed a targeted investment. For the whole year, we have examined and approved about 189 projects, including high-tech energy, transportation, and water conservation, these areas. For Shanti areas, we have about more than 6 million Shanti housing, and for about more than 2.8 million people have been relocated, and we have initiated 133 major water conservation projects, and for 2018 we have the new water conservation projects, and for railway we have more than 4,100 high-speed railways, And on the third part, for the natural gas supply, since November last year, we entered into the heating season, and natural gas consumption has this feature. We have high base, high growth, and high-speed operation. For the high base, last year, the 21st of November, LNG consumption has exceeded about 8.62 trillion, and we have high-speed growth. For daily supply, we have 18 days with the daily supply of more than 1 billion cubic meter. And by January the 20th, we have used more than 60 billion cubic meter of natural gas, a year-on-year growth of more than 15%. And since the 5th of December, daily consumption has maintained more than 900 million cubic meter, and we can see the domestic production has been kept at a high level, a year-on-year growth daily of about 20 million cubic meter. And for each day, we have the consumption of about 100 million, and the import has remained stable. We have various and diversified import sources, and the operation is better than expected. Overall, we can say that we have a sophisticated mechanism of supply, production, and distribution, and we can see the domestic consumption has been sustained. Fourth, for 2018 key areas, the getting rid of excess capacity effort for 2018 NDRC and the Interministerial Conference on the reduction of capacity, we focus on structural capacity reduction and the optimization of capacity. We have upgraded the supply side structure, and from the current condition, with the support of various regions and departments, for the 13th five-year plan for the steel and coal sector, we have accomplished the basic targets. Next, we focus on the quality of supply. And we also need to focus on the institutions and structures, and we will also need to eliminate the polluting enterprises, and we will actually focus on the security and safety of the staff, and we need to focus on the transfer of employees in the reduced capacity. Fifth, for the implementation for the International Belt and Road Forum. For the BRF, it has various priorities: the connectivity of policy, implementation, trade, capital, as well as people-to-people communication. We have about 76 categories and 279 items of the achievements for the BRF. We have about 269 items accomplished or transferred to a long-term process, and the implementation rate is about 96.4%. The details are as follows. In terms of policy communication, we focus on the communication between the different countries and regions, as well as international organizations. We focus on the agreements and treaties we have signed. The consultative office, as well as liaison office, has been established. The Belt and Road Facilitation Center has been launched, and the website has been launched, and we have stepped up the publicity effort. For infrastructure, China-Laos Railway has been in smooth construction, and we have the construction of the railway in Serbia, and we have the 7 countries signing this agreement on stepping up the China-Europe Railway. We have implemented this kind of agreement, and we have the mechanism of China-Europe Railway. It is in full play, and in 2018, we have about 13,000 China-Europe railways, reaching about 49 cities in this area. And in trade, we focus on Belt and Road trade. We have smooth trade as well as the institutionalized development. The first China Import Fair has been successfully held. And for the capital communication, for the Silk Road Fund has increased about 100 billion RMB. We have made achievement in using this fund. China IMF Joint Capacity Building Center has been officially launched. In terms of people-to-people communication, South-South Cooperation Facilitation Fund has increased by about $1.5 billion, and we have the cooperation in education, science, culture, think tank, as well as media. Next step, we will focus on the first Belt and Road Forum achievements and implementing these achievements. Before the second of such forum, we will have implemented all the items and transfer them to long-term process, and we will focus on holding the second BRF and sub-forums, focus on infrastructure and capacity cooperation. We will focus on financial support, investment environment, risk control, security guarantee, these key aspects and priorities. We will focus on substantial achievement for the high-quality, high-level development of the Belt and Road Initiative. 6. We focus on key areas reform. In 2018, NDRC has implemented the tasks, 15 tasks, as adopted by the Reform Committee of the central government, and we have made new achievements. First, we focus on the ownership, entrepreneurship, as well as the shares holding system, and we focus on the IPR protection, and we focus on the different cases and investigations concerns of the IPR infringement, and we encourage the enterprises to participate in the decisions concerning enterprises. We have also adopted and implemented the market access negative list, and we focus on the common implementation so that we can show that we are highly resolved for the high level of opening up. We focus on power, oil, gas, and other key areas for the reform. We have standardized the power transaction institutions, and we have, on a trial basis, the operation for the natural gas network. And we focus on different commercial associations. And fourth, we focus on delegating power, better regulation, and offer services, so that the people can be more convenient in going through the procedures. And for 22 cities, we have the trial of evaluation of the business environment. Fifth, we focus on investment mechanism. We innovate in investment methods and approaches. We guide social capital in participating into the national construction. We step up on improving the investment environment. We have adopted rules in terms of the regulation on the corporate investment. We focus on the transmission and distribution of power for the consumption of power and other kind of water conservation projects. We focus on the market-driven pricing, and for the local government pricing, it has been decreased by 30%. And next, we focus on the distribution and production of natural gas, and we focus on market-oriented technology innovation, and we have adopted the opinion on the pricing mechanism for the green development, and we have long-term mechanism for the economic development. And seventh, we focus on social credit. First, we consolidate the social credit information. By the end of December 2018, for the social credit information, we have consolidated more and more information, and we have become better connected. All kinds of information included, it has exceeded 30 billion. And for the administrative information, administrative measures and other information and penalties, all in all 147 million, and for administrative approval 1.09 million. 109 million. And we have the information concerning the accounting statistics and cultural market. We focus on the information, the disclosure of the penalties as well as the honesty of these market participants. In 2018 December, the defaulters' information has increased by more than 400,000. And for the people who exit from this blacklist, it is about more than 300,000. By end 2018, the courts have announced about more than 12 million defaulters, and we have the limit on buying the plane tickets as well as the high-speed railway tickets. And more than 380 million people who have defaulted now have improved upon their behavior, and we have limited the financing credit of about 12,000, and more than 1,400 people have paid the tax on their own initiative and exit from the blacklist. Third, we focus on the regulation for key areas. First, we focus on the charity donation. We have released the second batch of blacklist. And for the financial regulation, we released the 10th batch of defaulters in the amount of 400 defaulters. And for the State Network and Internet Information Office, we have released this regulation, and we have the joint penalties on the defaulters. For the fake lottery, for the key cases in the online gambling, the amount will reach about 10 million RMB, and we have tackled these cases. For social organizations, we have more than 6,000 cases solved, and we have handled with the social organizations with criminal prosecutions about 349. We have arrested more than 1,300 suspects and more than 14 million RMB in the case value. And for the overall situation, the defaulters has decreased by 22.7%. For social credit comprehensive evaluation, we have made progress. For public credit, we have different aspects, and we have the overall evaluation for market players, and this result will be sent to industrial associations, industrial authorities, and based on the result, for the evaluated, we will have the differentiated regulation measures, market service, etc. We have the State Public Credit Information Center. We focus on the coal, transportation, and travel services. We released the first batch of evaluation result, and we have the natural gas as the second batch of release result, and we have put it online. And for the next step, we will continue this process, and we will update the already released information, and we will, in a timely manner, add up for the industry and sector-specific information. And the next aspect, we focus on the 13th five-year plan and the midterm evaluation and release of information. We have the midterm evaluation for the 13th five-year plan in coordination with other departments and regions. And we have the key strategies midterm evaluation. For about 175 key projects, we have the midterm evaluation. It takes about more than 1 year. During the process, we study on basic and key areas. We focus on third-party and big data. We have different perspectives and different channels. For 2018 December, for the 7th plenary session for the 13th CPC, NPC, it has reviewed the evaluation report. We can see from the evaluation result, different countries, different regions and departments have implemented the 13th five-year plan. as planned, and it offers a solid foundation for realizing the final goal of this period of plan and for building the moderately prosperous society in a comprehensive manner, and you can go online to see specific details. And for certain items and external changes, we have certain challenges in facing the final goal. And for the next step, we will focus on the difficulties and problems identified in the evaluation, especially the limits we have identified. We will take a comprehensive manner, and we will step up our effort in achieving all the goals and tasks in the 13th five-year plan. And that is what I want to say on the top. Now it's for the Q&A session.
你好，那个春节马上到了，大家都特别关心天然气供应的问题。请问接下来
From CCTV, now we are coming near to the Spring Festival. People focus on the natural gas supplies. What are the following measures? Thank you for your question. Just now, I have briefly introduced about since entering into the heating season, the sales and supply of natural gas. Overall, I can say that for natural gas consumption have the high base and high growth rate, and we can say we have a sophisticated system of production, distribution, storage, and sales. And all the areas have the stable and orderly operation of natural gas supply. And for the next step, to ensure that for the Spring Festival period, we have the stable supply of natural gas, the NDRC and NEA will cooperate with other departments in focusing on these priorities. We stabilize the supply, price, and operation. First, we focus on the stability of supply. We will step up the coordination of resources. We will coordinate the providers of natural gas. We focus on the storage, warehouse and storage tank. We have enough supply so that we are in a position to stabilize the supply. And second, we will stabilize the price. We will closely monitor the fluctuation of the natural gas price. We will strictly punish the illegal and wrongful behaviors in actually disrupting the price. And third, we focus on stabilizing the operation. We will stay on duty during the holiday, and we focus on security examination. We ensure the secure operation of the equipment and storage, and we need to ensure that all the regions and departments will join their hands in securing the supply of natural gas and to actually secure a happy and stable holiday for the Spring Festival. Thank you from Phoenix. Yesterday, the National Bureau of Statistics has released the growth of the mainland China, and overseas institutions have also adopted their estimates. Some talk about 4% or 1%. So what are your comments on the external estimates? Yesterday, the National Bureau of Statistics has released the whole year data. According to the release, we can say that for 2018, China's economic operation has maintained a proper range, and we have achieved the goals for economic growth. And you have also mentioned that certain media have their comments, have their opinion on our economic operation, but we do not know their foundations, their evidence, but we think that we need to refer to data. And here we have certain data. First, from the 2018, the overall power consumption is about more than 680 million kWh, a year-on-year growth of 8.5%. And that is the highest since 2012. For coal consumption has increased by more than 150 million tons. And for natural gas, we have more than 4 million cubic meter of increase of more than 17%. And for railway, the transportation has increased by 9.1%. For these data, they are the direct indicator for the economic growth, and we can say these data can strongly support the overall growth rate of the whole year. And second, for related indicator for the primary, secondary, and industry and tertiary sector, we can say that for industry, year-on-year growth of 6.2%, service sector 7.7%, first industry about 3.5% increase. We can see three kinds of demands. For 2018, the overall fixed asset investment increased by 5.9%. And for the fourth quarter, we have a strong rebound. In social consumption retailing, it increased by 9%. And for RMB-denominated foreign trade increased by 9.7%. For employment and income, the new jobs about more than 13 trillion, an increase year-on-year of more than 100,000. And the fiscal income increased by more than 6.5%. And for the reduction of fees will reach about 1.3 trillion RMB. And for the industry increase of scale, increased by 11.8%. For disposable income, year-on-year growth of 6.5%. If we talk about different ways of calculating GDP, we have various kinds of evidence and data to support the overall growth of 6.5%. And from the international organization estimates, for the beginning of January, the World Bank has the latest outlook on the economic growth. For 2018, the World Bank projected that China will grow by 6.5%. And for IMF and OECD, they have also the outlook for China's GDP in the amount of 6.5 to 6.6%. I think that the international organizations have the comparable persuasion in terms of the data. And at last, I want to say that for China's economy, we have the strong resilience potential as well as the leeway. And for China's development, we are in and will continue to be in a strategic period. For the stable and healthy development of the economy, this fundamental has not changed, and we have the production elements to support long-term stable development. And for the overall trend of stability and progress, it has not changed. We do not seek high speed, we focus on high quality. But for China's economy, we fully are in a position and has the potential to maintain a growth within a proper range.
发言人好，中国新闻社记者提问。那么我们知道，近年来我国的对外开放的步伐在不断的加快。
From China News, and we know that for China's opening up, we are accelerating. And you talk about NDRC and MOFCOM, they have jointly released the list for foreign capital and foreign investors. For the automobile and financial sector, you have 22 new measures. People may be concerned that we are overstepping and so rapid in terms of opening up. So we are also curious about what are the following measures of NDRC in opening up. So this is a good question. So we focus that for 2018, the market access list for the foreign investors. Some people are concerned for the 22 items of opening up. We want to share our opinion with you. First, we step up reform through opening up. And this is our precious experience. For the past 40 years of reform and opening up, we insist on opening up our doors to have better development. Better opening up, we can draw foreign investments, foreign capital, and foreign technology, foreign know-how and talents. We also introduce business models. It helps to enhance the competitiveness of domestic enterprises and industries. And we have better foreign trade, and we have become the second largest economy in the world. And the largest manufacturer and exporter. And in this process, foreign enterprises have played a large role, and foreign enterprises have contributed to foreign trade, industrial output, and consumption as well as employment. And these foreign enterprises have become an important part of national economy. We can say opening up helps us with the reform and development as well as science and technology development. And opening up will also add to the comprehensive national strength. And for the new version of negative list of market access, it has achieved a lot. For the latest version of the negative list, it has actually invigorated a new batch of foreign investment. For tens of billions of foreign investment and projects have been implemented in China. You know, the Tesla bid in Shanghai to build, research, development, and sell the e-vehicle, electronic vehicle. And BMW, it has invested the third workshop in Shenyang. And we have the first foreign-owned security company and insurance company. We can see these investments will definitely actually add to the positive competition in the domestic market, and it will contribute to the high-speed and high-quality growth of certain industries and services. Some people are critical about the 22 items. These comments are not objective and reasonable. And we can see also that from a new starting point, we need to further expand and better open up. President Xi Jinping has mentioned that for China to better open up, it contributes to China itself, it contributes to the world also. We will stick to mutual benefit, and we will have high-level trade facilitation measures, and we will expand market access, and we will build the world-class environment of business. And for the next step, NDRC will cooperate with other departments and organizations to implement the decisions of the central government, and we will focus on the following priorities. First, we will further expand market access, and we will help the service sector to open up. And for agriculture, mining, and manufacturing, we will have in-depth opening up. For telecommunication, healthcare, as well as culture, we will also better opening up to the outside world, and we will secondly focus on the expansion of foreign investments. We will adopt the guidelines and catalog for foreign investment industries. We have the advantages industries for foreign investment, and for the overall direction is to offer more support for foreign investors, and we will have more support for the central and western area as well as the northeastern area. We will help this area to attract foreign investment. Third, we will continue to implement major foreign invested projects. For this year, we will continue to have the follow-up batches of major foreign investment projects. We will offer support for the implementation of these projects. We will encourage foreign investors to participate in the high-quality growth of China's manufacturing sector. And fourth, we focus on the legal environment. We can say that the 13th MPC has reviewed the draft for the foreign investment law, and this law is a complete new legislation, and it is legislation to identify for foreign investment about the facilitation and management. When the legislation passes, we will join hands with other departments to implement this law. And fifth, we focus on fair competition. NDRC, along with other departments, is actually tidying up the specific limits apart from the negative list. So we can say that we have the same standard for domestic and foreign investors, and we'll cooperate with other departments in terms of government procurement standards industry policies, science and technology industries, as well as the registration and IPO. In these aspects, we will ensure the fair competition and fair treatment. With the high level of opening up, foreign investment in China will be seeing more opportunities and will achieve better development and mutual benefit.
谢谢中央广播电视总台央广记者提问。那么，中央经济工作会议提出，要抓好已经在城镇就业的农业转移人口的落户工作。
The Central Economic Work Conference has identified that we focus on the transfer employment. For how do you focus on this, and what are the future plans? So for this, it is a joint concern of the society. For the State Council and the CPC Central Committee has focused on the agricultural employment as well as the transfer employment. By 2020, we need to help 100 million rural residents to have the household registration in urban areas, and we have supporting and matching measures. NDRC and the Ministry of Public Security have a interministerial conference, and we will continue to work to help these rural residents to become a member of the urban area and to contribute to the new type of urbanization. And we will help these 100 million rural residents to become registered in urban area. And for the urbanization rate, the increase is about 1.2 percentage points on average. And by end 2017, the urbanization rate reached 42.35%. It is expected that this rate for 2018 will be kept at a steadily growth trend. And this process is now smooth. We have certain details for you. For the registration reform, it has been comprehensively implemented. For 31 provinces, autonomous regions, and municipalities, we have released the opinions and plans for the registration system reform. A majority of jurisdictions and the cities and municipalities have released and relaxed the requirement for registration. And this is a smooth channel for rural residents to get registered in urban area. And second, we have the matching up policy frameworks to support the urbanization. And third, for the basic public service, expanded, and it will cover the residents. And now we have the resident permit, and based on that, we have the public service supply system. And this system is in a preliminary shape. And for vocational training, compulsory education, and affordable housing, these schemes are also expanded and are also having better quality. For this year, NDRC and the Ministry of Public Security and other departments, we will implement the central government's decision and to help the 100 million people to get registered. We will focus on key areas. First, we will enhance the registration system reform, and we will have a close monitoring and follow-up for this system. And based on that, we will advocate the experience for certain localities in helping the rural people to get registered. We will step up the monitoring and following up. And second, we will focus on supervision. And for the current situation that the registration policy is not sufficiently implemented and the channel for registration is not smooth. For these kind of problems and localities, we will have the supervision and we will help them to make changes. And for the rural people who have stable jobs in urban areas, we will help them to get registered. Thank you for the following up questions.
谢谢发言人。每日经济新闻记者提问：近期出现了互联网行业裁员等声音。
For daily economic news, and here we have the layoff for the internet sector. What are the jobs market situation? What are the future measures for securing jobs and employment? And employment is a top concern. From the second half of last year, since recently, we can say that we have the people's concern concerning the internet sector and the laying off in that sector. We have studies in various channels and in various modes. We have also visited certain enterprises, and we have the discussions with certain industries. And from the information we have got, we can say that for internet enterprises, the employment recruitment is stable, with no large-scale laying off. And we have also introduced the data concerning employment. From the job market perspective, we can say that it is stable overall. And we are also facing new changes and difficulties. And on the one hand, the market is stable, and on the other hand, we have challenges and changes. We can say that for 2018, the new jobs will reach about more than 13 million. It is a new historic high for 6 consecutive years. The new jobs are more than 13 million. And for the surveyed unemployment rate, it maintained at a low level. And we can say the job supply is larger than the people seeking for jobs. According to the supply and demand calculation and census, we can say that the ratio of job supply and job seekers is more than 1. And for the Q4, this figure is 1.27. And from the change perspective, we can say we have complex external environment, and for economic cooperation, we have changes and downward pressure. And this pressure will actually be transmitted to the job market. And we have the new labor supply, which remain at a high level for a long time. Now for college graduates, it will reach about 8.34 million, an increase of 140,000 as compared to 2018, a historic high. Therefore, we have a mounting pressure for the job market. And for the job market, we will also need to focus on the potential of China's employment. China's economy is resilient enough, and we are forming new growth engines and new markets. And for this process, we will generate diversified demand for jobs, and it will lift the growth of new jobs. And we are in a condition, and we are capable of tackling the risks and stabilizing the job market and growth. For the next step, NDRC will, along with other departments, implement the guidelines and priorities of the Central Economic Work Conference, and we will take a package plan. And first, we will stabilize growth so that we can stimulate employment. We will innovate in macro control so that the economy will grow in a healthy manner, and that will lay a foundation for the job market growth. And second, we'll focus on entrepreneurship and startups. Through innovation-driven development, we will offer incentives in tax and the land allocation and other measures. We will focus on the incubating measures. We focus on mass entrepreneurship and mass innovation. We will encourage more people to get employed through starting up their own business. Third, we focus on key areas. Through stepping up on the training as well as the service of getting employed and starting business, Through these measures, we will help the college graduates, the migrant workers and retirees. We will help these people to get jobs and get employed. And fourth, we improve the quality, and we will guide market players to offer more stable jobs, long-term contracts, as well as social security, and more appropriate growth paths for the salaries. These measures will help to improve the quality of employment. Thank you.
接受记者采访时表示，今年将加大债券融资的支持力度，扩大优质民营企业债券的发行规模。
It is said that we will focus on the support for securities financing, for the bond financing, and we will help the private enterprises to expand their bond financing. Would you elaborate on the bond financing and how to accelerate the approval process from securities times? For financing and bond financing, it is a direct means for financing. It is an important element in actually helping the small and medium enterprises to get their money. And you focus on this year's measures. We will take the following measures to supervise and regulate the issuance of corporate bonds so that we can give free play to corporate bonds in serving the real economy. First, we focus on key areas. We will give free play to corporate bonds in serving the national strategies and plannings. And we will also incorporate corporate bonds in terms of the key national strategies, including the Yangtze River Delta development and the prevention of pollution. And we'll also need to focus on the corporate bonds and give full play to its role to poverty reduction, urban development, rural development, ecological protection, people's livelihood, infrastructure and transportation. Second, we will expand the issuance of corporate bonds. For the high-quality ones, they are the priority. We will focus on the innovation of different corporate bonds. We encourage banks to issue more than 3-year long-term and medium-term loans to the private enterprises, especially for the high-tech enterprises. We will also help the private enterprises to dispose of the default bonds and to offer new dynamism. And third, we focus on better service. We will streamline the process of offering service, and we will be more effective and efficient in approving the corporate bonds. And we will support different departments and organizations, authorities to help the enterprises with the financing. And through these measures, we want to boost the private economy and private sector.
谢谢发言人，我是第一财经日报的记者。近期国家发改委能源局印发了积极推进风电高伏发电无补贴评价项目
And for the NDRC, NEA have printed the notice on the wind power and solar power as well as PV power. Now we can say that do we have the conditions for the wind power and PV power to get integrated into the network without subsidies? Do they have the conditions, and what are the measures we will take? So this is also the issue of common concern. Recently, we have expanded the scale of wind power and PV power, and we have upgraded the technology, and the cost has been reduced substantially. By the end of 2018, we can see for wind power, PV installed capacity have reached 360 million kilowatt, about more than 20% of the total installed capacity. For the power generation, it is about 600 billion kilowatt hour, about 9% of the total. And for the construction cost, in 2018, the cost has reduced by 20% and 45% for wind and PV respectively. We can say that for the resource-rich. So now we are coming to the end of this press conference because we have introduced the overall operation of the economy. So thank you for your attention for the press conference and briefing.